Hello everybody, Reggie Time here with another short 30 snap video for you. Um, Straight away, first time we flop a set, which is nice. Hopefully we're going to start the video with a bang. And his player checks back. When he checks back, I believe he's either got some give-ups or some hands that are, some pairs that are worse than a king. There's no reason to check again. Players just check down here way too often. And we just need to start betting now and trying to get some value from pocket jacks, pocket queens, unfortunately, which just got there. I think we have a very easy bet fold here on the river. We can definitely get called by some two pairs. He's going to raise us with flushes. He might raise us with a set of queens if he has that. I'm not sure why I've suddenly got the show hand option. I don't want that. How do we get rid of that? Auto muck hand. Yep, I've got it on. It's just turned off on that table. I see by that board it's pretty dry. Yeah, there's a flush draw out there and a couple of small straight draws. But overall it's a pretty dry flop, so I just tried to pick the pot up. When he check calls, I'm kind of done with it. He said he's going to have some kind of pair, Jack X, 9s, 10s, 8s. Sometimes he's going to have a flush draw. I just don't think I'm going to get any folds, or not going to get enough folds to fight a return barrel, and we can't really triple barrel in this spot. So yeah, that was pretty much a sign of always going to c-bet once and then only continue if maybe a queen or a king or an ace popped. Well, if an ace popped, I will continue. But yeah. If we don't pick a card up that gives me some fold equity against Jack X, pocket 10s, pocket 9s, that type of thing. If we don't pick a card that gives me fold equity against those, I wasn't going to continue with my aggression. I'm not one for c-betting wet boards, but the Jack Deuce 4, it's not a wet board. Yeah, it's got a flush draw out there, but it's certainly not a wet board. There are some draws, but not too many. So we are recording this at 11 in the morning, GMT. The pool looks quite good actually. No offence to any Australian players who are watching this, but there's plenty of Australian players in the pool, which usually makes for good games. Players from the richer countries, Australia, Canada, the UK, Germany, anytime the pools have a decent number of players from those countries, you can rely on the fact you're going to be in some decent games. This is a new regular. What do we know say about him? 26-17, high c-bet, low turn barrel. I think I remember this guy wasn't particularly positionally aware. So I think we'll start off by just seeing what happens if we 3-bet him with a hand like A6 suited, which is a decent hand to 3-bet bluff with. And we've got a decent flop for our hand. We've got some backdoor draws. We have a pair. Going to isolate over here with my 9-7 suited. I'm not going to c-bet this board. I don't think we get folds from pocket 7s, pocket 8s, those types of things. Any pocket pairs he's peeled with is not folding any of those. And we're now obviously dominating any of his ace-x hands that he called us with. We're reverse dominating those now. This player's donked on this board. We have basically one backdoor draw. Bound backdoor spades and one backdoor flush draw. No reason to continue. With the 6. I don't think he's doing this with the ace king, ace queen type of hand. I think he's just always got a pocket pair here. Like pocket 10s, pocket 8s, pocket jacks, those types of things. So I'm just going to fold my hand. I think if he has two high cards, I don't think he's going to stab on that board on the turn. I don't think he needs to. He's probably going to usually put me on two unpaired cards. And if he's got a hand like ace king, ace queen, he doesn't really need to be turning that into a bluff there. Maybe he does. Who knows? Maybe that was a poor fold. But when he's betting that size, it didn't look like a pro bet to me. It looked like a value bet. And yeah, if he's managed to get me to fold a pair there with an unpaired hand, well, good for him. I think people's calling range is out of position to three bets. People, lots of players, they just call. They set mine all the time, and they set mine up to jacks. Maybe he even has queens there. Maybe he even has queens. Who knows? It's entirely possible he can have queens there. And I'm just not in the business of paying off those kind of bets in those situations. So he's made a really small three bet here. So I'm having to put in just 4.5 blinds more. I don't like calling three bets with 9-7 suited and the likes. But when people make it too small, like he's made this way too small here. He's made it 7.5 blinds. It's not enough. If you're three betting to 7.5 blinds out of position, especially against 3x opens, stop doing it. You're making a mistake. You're giving people too much of a good price to call your races. And it could be now that he's got me in a bad spot. He could easily have me crushed here. I'm not going to fold one pair to one bet though. But if I call here and he goes bombing, say $7 plus on the turn, and I don't improve, I'll just give the hand up. But we do improve, which is nice. And now we're going to pray. Well, not pray because I'm not a religious man. But now we're going to hope that he's got the hand he's repping. And I'm not going to bet small here. I'm going to go really big because I think he's going to check fold most of the time, but when he's not check folding, I want to make sure that we can easily shove the river. And he was check folding, so I mean, if he's c-bet there, let's just pull that hand up a moment, and let's just sit out for a moment, and pull that hand up, and let's just talk about why I feel he's played that hand poorly. We'll play this hand out. And then we'll talk about it. It's a mistake I see lots and lots of people making. People who come to me for help, they make similar mistakes to this all the time. On this board here, first of all, let's talk about why you see bets too small. Sorry, we just take it back one thing. He's asking us to call 135 into a pot of 345. So we're getting like 2.5 to 1 on our money right now. Direct odds. So even if he's got aces or kings or something, we're not quite getting the right price, but we're getting a decent price. We're probably maybe 4 to 1 underdog against the top of his range. We're getting 2.5 to 1 direct. We don't need to make an awful lot more money. At times we make a hand to make this call absolutely fine. So he hasn't charged it enough to have the luxury of position on him with the top of his range. And if he has a hand like ace king, ace queen, etc., he's not doing a particularly good job of protecting what is quite a vulnerable hand. Because yeah, ace king looks great pre-flop. It looks really great. Ace king, ace queen, look at us, we're ahead of his range, let's 3-bet for value. It all looks good until this happens, and we've rushed through that way too quick. Until this flop hums. All of a sudden your ace king's like, oh, we don't like my ace king much anymore. And the way he's played this hand, he's definitely had a hand like ace king, ace queen, or just some airball. When I call his 3-bet, c-betting these types of boards with air, for me, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. This kind of board, it doesn't smash my range, but he's not going to get very much fold equity against my range on this type of board. I mean, yeah, if I've called with a hand like Jack 10 of clubs or something, he's going to make me fold that, but he's almost certainly ahead of that anyway. Just think of the hands that, you say he does have a hand like ace king or ace queen. Think of the hands that ace king is behind to that are going to fold here. How many are there? Maybe pocket twos, pocket threes might fold. Pocket threes might not even fold, it's a good shot. And that's it really. Ace king's ahead of everything except pocket twos, pocket threes, and maybe pocket ace 4, ace 5, those type of things. They may just fold. To c-betting here with a hand like ace king or ace queen, it's suicide. Because nothing good happens. You either make a worse hand fold or you get called by a better hand most of the time. So his c-bet's really poor, which is why I didn't expect him to make a c-bet bluff here, or a c-bet with a not made hand, or with him. I mean, if you've got ace king of hearts or something, or maybe ace king with a diamond, maybe it's worth c-betting. But even then, I don't think I would. I think I'd rather just take a check call line. And he bets $3. We have a really easy call. He just check folds his turns. I mean, it's fine. If he's just given up there, at least I suppose it's good for him that he's given up. But yeah, his c-bet's really poor. He can't have anything when he check folds his turn. He's not check folding a hand like pocket tens here or pocket eights or something like that. So yeah, it's just obviously, in my opinion, he's made two mistakes. One's a smallish mistake. The pre-flop 3-bet was too small. 7.5 blinds, especially when someone's 3x'd it, 7.5 blinds is just too small. His bet doesn't carry any fold equity really, apart from the very bottom. I mean, if I opened a hand like King 8 suited, he's probably going to get me off that. But he's not going to get me off anywhere near enough of my cut-off opening range, making it 225. And then he's going to put himself in situations like this all the time post-flop, where his two high cards just don't improve, and then he's in a shitty spot constantly. And then, in my opinion, his biggest mistake was firing what was clearly now, as the hands played out, a c-bet bluff on this kind of board texture. Don't do it. These kind of boards, we don't get anywhere near enough folds to justify firing whiffed over cards on these types of boards. So if you are doing this, just stop doing it now, because you're just throwing money away. You're setting money on fire. So there we go. Let's just move on. If we can actually get the video going again. 888, it's looking like it's perhaps throwing a little hissy fit, so I'll just pause the video until 888 starts working again. Yep, so it appears 888 is still having its minor disconnection issues, which is somewhat irritating. If you see here, I'm making some very exploitable sizings. 3xing with my pocket jacks, min raising with my king 6 off. I have absolutely no problem doing this whatsoever. I think the amount of times I'm going to get exploited for doing it versus the amount of times I'm just going to make extra money by having exploitable sizings, it's not even worth considering. It really isn't. And when we get check raised on that dry board there by a regular, there's absolutely no reason to stay in the pot with my hand. We got a really nice dry flop, good board for us to see bet, and he check raised us. Easy fold. Yep, so it does look like, excuse me, it does look like 888 is still having their disconnect issues, which is incredibly irritating because you've had a good weekend there, and I have redeposited the majority of my roll back on the site. So if they are going to continue the disconnecting issues, it's going to be frustrating for me. So let's hope that was just a blip. Sorry for the moments of silence, but the games aren't exactly flowing right now, which is somewhat unfortunate. Hopefully they'll start running a little bit faster soon. So here we are. We have an unknown player who's potted it under the gun. I'm going to make a tight fold with my ace-jack offsuit here. Who knows, he could be, I mean, for starters, seeing people just pot it under the gun, it's uncommon these days. Most regulars aren't doing that. So straight away we can maybe assume that player wasn't a regular. But even so, playing ace-jack off from the small blind versus under the gun open isn't something I'm doing very often against unknowns. I would play it against people who I know I have a significant edge over, and I'll maybe 3-bet it against regulars that I know open, in my opinion, too wide under the gun. Who are anyone that's opening like 18% under the gun, I'll 3-bet a hand like ace-jack. So now this is the second time I've been aware of this player, and so far we've seen him pot it in with 3-betters. It's too early to make any assumptions about Svetkot, but we'll certainly be keeping our eyes on him for the rest of the session, because we've seen him twice, and it's twice he's taken an aggressive action. That could mean everything. It could mean absolutely nothing whatsoever. At the moment, I'm going to presume it means nothing, because we may have seen him fold 8 times so far this session and just not noticed him. But yeah, I'll certainly be keeping my eyes out for him for the rest of the session. And at the end of the session, what I will probably do is go into my Holder Manager database and just have a little root around, see if we can see him, see if it's a new player, if it's an old player, and just see what we know about him. King Queen offsuit against a regular blind versus blind. I think we have a pretty easy 3-bet fold here, because I think he's going to call wide enough for us to profit. Then we're going to do okay against his calling range, and when we get 4-bet, we're going to have a really easy fold with King Queen offsuit. But I think he's going to call with enough worse hands, and we're going to be able to outplay him enough times post flop to make. So at 3-bet in the King Queen offsuit, absolutely fine there, and to make it the best play. I think if I had King Queen suited, I'd be more inclined to call, because I wouldn't particularly want a 3-bet fold King Queen suited, but I'm happy 3-bet folding King Queen off. Whilst we're on just a very quiet spot of the video, I am a microstates coach. I charge anything from $28 to $35 an hour, depending on how many sessions you choose to hire me for. The more sessions you choose to hire me for, the cheaper the rate you get. And I have worked with around, it must be getting on for 100 people now in my first year or so doing this. I have an excellent track record of helping previously losing players at these stakes, anything from 2NL to 25NL. An excellent record in helping those types of players go from being losing players to winning players, and I have an excellent record of helping new players get through the early parts of the learning curve pretty quickly. So if you are struggling with the game and you're thinking you maybe need a little bit of help, please do look at the comments section below this video and look at the ways you can get in touch with me, and do consider just taking one session and see what happens. It wouldn't be the worst thing you could do with $35. Little skill. What's my note? Mereg, low 3-bet, low 3-bet, small sample. So he's kind of not a good regular. So in that case, I'm going to play my King Queen off against somebody who my notes tell me isn't particularly good. We're going to check call twice here with the King Queen, and then we're going to decide on the river, and then we're going to decide based on if he bets, how much he bets, how quickly he bets, and kind of things like that. Because if he triple barrels here, there's a very good chance King Queen isn't going to be the best hand. But people double barrel a lot and then give up on the third barrel. You'll frequently see people with 67% C-bet, 52% turn C-bet, and then 25% river barrel, which means a double barrel in a little bit too much and then just giving up. When he checks back this turn, I'm just going to make a small value bet on the river, just to try and get some crying calls from pocket jacks, ace 10. Just hands that are just slightly worse than King Queen that won't value bet. I'm going to C-bet this very dry board here with my ace Queen. And I'm going to barrel any king, any ace. Maybe a 10, but probably not a 10. With any king, any ace, any queen, I would have barreled there. Yeah, I frequently see lines on forums and people discussing how on boards like that with the King Queen, because if we call turn or fold river, we're making a mistake. If we call turn, we have to call river. I do not subscribe to that theory. Just look in your poker tracking databases, see how much people's river continuation bet drops off compared to turn and flop. It drops off a lot. Some people don't. Some people will have it like 60, 50, 50. And they're kind of the harder people to play against. But tons of players will have it like 69% C-bet, 42% turn barrel, 20% river barrel. More players at the micro stakes are like that than are like the 60, 50, 50 types. And so we can absolutely just call 2 barrels and fold to third barrels. Do I just want to see about my gut shot here? It's a pretty dry board. Yes, I think we do. I'm going to see bet my gut shot here. Just because it's a dry board, it's ace high. We get plenty of folds. I think we get enough folds here to make that okay. Let me know what you think of these shorter videos, by the way. This is the second short video I've made, and I'm hoping to try and fit more content into them by when we have played an interesting hand like we played with the 9-7 earlier. I'm hoping to squeeze more content into them instead of just glossing over things as much. I'm hoping to squeeze more content in by actually getting some discussion in the. I mean, we're going to see fewer interesting hands, but I hope to compensate for that by. I have no idea what's going on here. I'm hoping to compensate for that by actually giving a little bit more detailed analysis of my thought processes on the hands that we do run up against that are interesting. People have asked for shorter videos, so I'm going to deliver that, but hopefully going to deliver them with a bit more concentrated content. So please let me know what you think of them. Let me know in the comments section, let me know on Reddit, let me know on 2+2, because I want to produce videos that people are getting things from. And if there's anything you'd like to see changed, please let me know. King 9 suited, unknown. He hasn't got many chips. I think 3-betting here will be a mistake. Because he's just going to bet a 4-bet jam on us so often with his stack size. So now it's a question of, he's unknown, do I want to call or fold here? And then I think the hand's too strong to fold, so we want to call. And we're going to be very careful on this board. We're going to try and keep the pot as small as we can until we either make a hand or think we have a chance to maybe blow him off something. But once we flop a 9 with like a gut shot, my intention now is to just try and get this hand to showdown. I'm not going to bet here because there's not really very much to protect against. We don't have to protect against a king. A queen gives us a straight. There's only really an ace to protect against. And now it's whether I want to go for some very thin value. And I think we can bet fold $1 here. Can we? Actually, no, I don't think we can. I think it's too thin. I just don't think we get called by enough worse hands. Maybe pocket 6 calls us, but yeah. I don't think we get called by anywhere near enough worse hands on that board. I mean, there's all kinds of things out there, all kinds of better hands. I was tempted to go for thin value. I do preach thin value to my students a lot, how missing thin value is one of the biggest leaks people have that they don't recognise. People recognise when they make a mistake by paying off or something like that. They know, or when they make a bluff that doesn't work, they see those mistakes and think, wow, that was a bad mistake. One of the biggest mistakes people make is not going for thin value, but they don't notice they made a mistake because they still win the pot and they're happy that they won the pot. When this rock guy c-bets into 2 people here, I just think he's going to have an ace a lot of the time. If he's got 3 of them, we're going to lose a big pot to end the video. But I just think he's going to have ace-x a heck of a lot of the time here when he c-bets this board. So we're going to try and hopefully get stacks in against ace-king. Or maybe some flush draws that he has. And if he has 3 5s or 3 aces, well, it's fuck my lifetime. And he folds, which is surprising. I mean, if he's folded ace-x there, good fold. Good fold, sir. I wouldn't expect most 30NL nitty regulars to be folding ace-x there to a raise. And I wouldn't expect them to be c-betting 2 kings or 2 queens on there very often. So maybe he just c-bets some random pair. Well, no, I think raising there is entirely appropriate on that board. There's just too many bad cards can come off. A spade's bad for us. A deuce or a 3 is bad for us. Yeah. So I think raising there is very appropriate. And yeah, it worked out. We won the pot. We didn't win the pot we wanted to win. But that's not really much we can do about that. If people don't have the hands they think we have when we're raising for value, they're going to fold. And it's just unfortunate when they do. But that doesn't mean our raise was bad. It just means it didn't have what we thought they had. Right, so someone's 4x'd it blind versus blind here. 10-9 suited is way too strong to fold. It's way too playable to fold. But I don't want a 3-bet. I see people making the mistake of 3-betting these hands. I think it's a huge mistake. 10-9 suited has way too much playability post-flop to start bluffing with pre-flop, in my opinion. I'm going to peel. If you see bets this board, I'm going to peel. I'm going to float. Because we have a backdoor straight draw with the 6, so a backdoor flush draw, and he's going to see bet the ace XX dry all the time. So he's going to float here, and if you see bets the turn, if he barrels the turn, then I don't pick up any equity. So if I don't pick up a spade, or maybe a 7 or an 8, I'm probably not going to do very much. I'm probably just going to give up with the hand. But if he checks the turn, and I pick up any kind of equity, I'm probably then just going to empty the clip and just double barrel. And we pick up a 9, which kind of, it helps if he does this. I'm not going to bet here. I'm not going to start betting my 9, because what do I get value from? He's not going to, maybe he check calls with pocket 8s or pocket 7s, but I don't think we jumped ahead of too much of his c-betting range. We jumped ahead of some of it, but nothing that's going to call us. So I'm just going to check back, and now it's a matter of, do I want to c-bet this river? Again, can I get some thin value on this river? If I bet here, does he call with pocket 8s? My concern is that he's got a hand like pocket jacks or pocket queens that he isn't going to fold. I think he can have kings, queens, jacks, and take this exact line here. So again, and I think he can also have some weak aces, so I'm not going to go for some thin value. I just think there's too many better hands can still call. And he had jack king, so he would have just folded. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's played that hand fine. His open's a little bit too large, but I think he made a good c-bet on a dry board, and then, yeah, he did right. I think he's played the hand fine there. I think I played it fine. And it's probably a nice way to end the video. So, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope, in a way, I hope you're left wanting more. I hope you're left thinking, wow, I can't wait for the next video to come out, because it's short enough, hopefully, to leave people wanting more, but long enough, hopefully, to where people got something from it. So, yep, I think we will absolutely call it a day from here. We'll play these pocket 8s, and then we'll end the video on that. And we're going to play it with Svetkot, the player that's piqued our interest earlier in the video. I don't know enough about Svetkot here too. I mean, there's some places I would 3-bet, 5-bet shove with pocket 8s. I don't know enough about Svetkot yet to take that line. So I'm just going to call. And we're going to just try it on what it looks like we're disconnecting actually, which is unfortunate. It's not a good advert for 888, that is for sure. So yeah, this could actually, instead of being an interesting way to end the video, it could be a disappointing way to end the video, because we're definitely having some connection issues again right now. So I think we'll just end the video now. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. There'll be another video out later in the week. Bye for now.